Heard a wise person say, either you run the day or the day runs you. You didn't wake up today to lose, but only you get to choose how this day will go. You woke up today to win. So let's start it off the right way. Our ultimate goal is to be more productive today than we were yesterday. Our ultimate goal is to be more productive tomorrow than we were today. So I need you to mentally get yourself focused. I need you to mentally get yourself locked in. I need you to mentally prepare to go dominate this day. See, if you want to be more productive, you need to become a master of your minutes. You need to become a master of your time and not fall into that state of overwhelm. Oh, I know, because I've been there. And right now, you got a lot of things to do today. But the problem is, it's all in your mind. It's all in your brain. Because how can you hit a target that you can't see? How can you make a basket on a goal that you don't have? We want massive production and not just busy work. Yeah, you know the things that you need to do, but you don't have it mapped out. Your internal GPS is not set. Your internal GPS is not locked in. And that sets you up to not be very productive today. Focus on being productive instead of just busy, because you can do a whole lot of stuff in a day and have nothing to show for it. And that means tomorrow you right back at square one, wondering where the time went. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I'm doing this at 7:45. I'm doing this at 8:30. I'm doing this at 10:30. I'm doing this at 12:30. That's how you become more productive. By knowing what you need to accomplish and knowing when you need to accomplish it. You don't need more time in your day. You need to decide. You need to make a decision. You need to have a well thought out plan.
You're born with a gift. If not that, then you get good at something along the way. And what you're good at, you don't take for granted. You don't betray it.
What if you do betray your gift?
And you betray yourself.
For far too long, you've been holding yourself back. It's time for you to walk with purpose. It's time for you to walk into your gift. It's time for you to live your best life.
We're gonna make mistakes. You gotta own them. Then you gotta make amends. And then you gotta move on. So turn the page, get off the ride. You are the author of the book of your life. Turn that page.
The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be.
When you never made a mistake, it means you never tried. If you never tried, it means you never took a chance. And if you never took a chance, you never believed in yourself, you never had faith. We need faith. You need to believe in yourself. And it doesn't matter how many times you failed. What matters is you keep getting up every day and trying again. And that's what really is important, is knowing that, you know, each day you have an opportunity to change.
Life always offers you a second chance. You know what it's called? Tomorrow.
See change as growth. See change as transformation. See change as evolution. Your history is not your destiny.
You can't get it because you want it. If you put in the work, they can't deny you. If you put in the work, they can't stop you.
Don't you realize that you are enough? Don't you realize that you are special? Don't you realize you were put in for a reason? Because you were born to prosper.
Be great. Pursue your own version of happiness.
It's wrapped in your capacity, your ability to believe in a dream, even if nobody believes in you.
It's two people born in a hospital every day. It's a person that's born in a hospital that's going to get a job and somebody born in a hospital that's gonna give them a job. You get to decide which one you're gonna be.
Cheers to you. No, better yet, here's to the new you. It's a new day, it's a new time, and a new era. Change can be scary. But you know what's scarier? It's when you allow fear to stop you from growing, to stop you from evolving. For far too long, regression has been a daily part of your life. That all stops right now. So cheers to the new you, the improved you, the better you. See, everything you've ever wanted in your life is on the other side of the changes that you will start making today. It's on the other side of the consistent, intentional action that you will start taking today. So your goal is 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, a year from now, is for you to be able to pat yourself on the back because you know all of the hard work and everything that you put in to be the new version of you. And it all starts with you taking that first step on your trek to your destination of greatness.
See, those of you who are
trying to get to the point that greatness, it just exudes you. Greatness is in your spirit. When you walk into a room, people feel the greatness that's coming off of you. You radiate greatness.
I see change as transformation. I see change as evolution. I see change as beauty, brilliance. I see change as the future. I see change as necessary. I see that if I don't change, there is a generation of people who are going to be stuck in the same place. Change is inevitable. You are either changing for the worse or changing for the better. You decide.
It's time for you to go from the downtrodden to next level living. You will die to the old you and you will resurrect the new you, the improved you, the better you, the person you were born to be, the person you were meant to be, and the person you want to be. So I need you to release the unchangeable past and embrace your phenomenal future.
The lie. Somebody lied to you and told you that it was impossible. Every time somebody told me I could not do something, I had a decision that I had to make in order to achieve what they said was impossible.
Because greatness lives in you. It's just time for you to let the world see it. It's time for you to let yourself see it. It's time for you to believe it. The next level awaits. But the next level will require you to die to the old you and metamorph into the new you. They're well on their way to the best you. Enough to make it to tomorrow. And you hear my voice today. If you're still breathing, you still have an opportunity to be achieving.
Calling all reformers. I'm calling all innovators. I'm calling all game changers. I'm calling all world shakers. I'm calling all city shifters. I'm calling everybody that has an inkling of faith in themselves. I'm calling everybody. You will inherit the future.
What I've been trying to tell you all year when I said you gotta want it as bad as you wanna breathe. Listen to me, you gotta hear what I'm saying. First, what I'm trying to tell you is you gotta have a desire. Like for real, the first thing you gotta have, if you wanna be what you wanna be, have what you wanna have, do what you wanna do, man, you gotta have that desire. You gotta have a hunger. Listen to me. It don't come from without, it comes from within. Only you know what you want. Listen to me. Only you know what you are capable of doing. Only you know what you dream about. Only you know what the next level is for you. So number one, you got to hear it all year. I've been trying to get this one message across all year. You got to want it. You gotta want it. There's gotta be a desire. There's gotta be something within you that burns.
Hunger is your internal security guard. And as long as hunger is there, it keeps out intruders. Hunger opens your eyes. Hunger is your driver. Hunger drives improvement. Hunger. You gotta get hungry if you want future. You gotta get hungry if you want destiny. You gotta get hungry if you want connections. You gotta get hungry if you want to live that higher quality of life. You gotta get hungry, 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 hungry. And only the ones that want it will be the ones that will succeed. It is gonna hurt you, but it will push you. It is going to put you in a position where you want to break down and quit. But we all know that quitting is not an option. If you feel in your heart that you deserve this opportunity, then let it resonate through your veins. Let it flow through your soul. Understand that it takes pure grit, tenacity, passion, and pure focus. This is what you train for. Hours and hours and hours and hours of pain. Hours and hours and hours and hours of sweat. Hours and hours and hours of working hard. Do you give up now? Do you start doubting yourself? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of the man or the woman next to you? Do you feel that they worked harder than you? Do you feel they deserve what you have worked so hard for within yourself? Make no mistake. Don't sleep on your greatness. Don't sleep on those that want to take away what's yours. Just understand this. Doubt, fear, and those that are trying to pull you down won't get you across that finish line. Understand that you got to be the one that want it the most. If you got up this morning when you are running your race, then be committed to your race. Do not be committed to excuses. Do not be committed to fear. Do not be committed to those that may oppose you. Be committed to crossing that finish line. Be committed to being a champion. Be committed to being a warrior. Be committed to keeping your eyes focused on the prize.
You don't have any limitations. You don't have any boundaries. Your past is your past. And I told you before, you want to go talk about the past? I could go pound for pound with you. I was a high school dropout. You want to talk about the past? We can talk about the past, but my past ain't got nothing to do with my present. This is the only opportunity I got, and I gotta lose myself. Every single day I gotta lose myself in this moment. You have what it takes mentally. You have what it takes physically. You got the heart. You got everything it takes to make it happen. So you gotta stop waiting for circumstances. You gotta stop waiting for situations, man. You gotta catch this last one.
Don't quit on you. Don't quit on this opportunity. Don't quit on your success. Don't quit on being the best of yourself.
Reading is the strongest signal for success in the future that I've ever seen. It is the strongest. I got my first job in radio when I was 16 years old because I was a great reader. Have you ever met a person who was a great reader when they were young who was not successful? Never. It is the absolute best foundation ever in life.
I was always sort of really interested in reading when I was a kid, and I would read everything that I could get my hands on. I read the encyclopedia. I read every novel. Age 9 or 10.
Okay.
Well, and not that I actually wanted to read the encyclopedia, but I ran out of things to read, so in desperation I read the encyclopedia.
There's a reason why we have the technology that we do, at least in part because fans of science fiction have been influenced by those ideas and have taken those ideas and put them into practice in the world. That which we focus our imaginations on, Tom, is what we manifest in this realm. That's the secret. That's the deal.
The thing about a book that you can't get from a discussion is that a book is like a portrait as opposed to a photograph. You know, a photograph, it's click, that's that. A portrait you layer on and layer on and layer on and work over on for weeks. You still have the same single image, but there's this depth to it. And a book enables you to think and then rethink and think and then rethink. And so you can go deeper in a book than you can, I would say, in any other medium.
The power of science fiction literature and its connection to the what if is it actually inspires us. It invites us to create the world as a reflection of what we can imagine.
So, given the truth that you never have control, you never had it, how can you eliminate stress and cultivate resilience? Well, I want to share some concepts with you. Concept number one is mental chatter, which is the internal monologue that you have going on in your head all the time. It begins when you get up in the morning, is with you right through the day, is with you now. But in the short time I've been speaking, how many of you have already gone someplace else? What am I going to have for lunch? Who do I have to call? Right? I rest my case. All of that is mental chatter, and I invite you to think of it. Whatever situation you are in, your mental chatter about that situation makes it an order of magnitude worse. Then we have mental models, and a mental model is a notion you have that this is the way the world works. But this is not the way the world works. It's your model of this is the way the world works. And the more you believe in your model of this is the way the world works, the more evidence you seem to get that this in fact is the way the world works. And very soon you built a silo around yourself that's so thick you can't break out of it. Your mental chatter, the mental chatter that you entertain, and the mental models that you hold dictate your life. You're all living in a matrix. If any of you have seen the movie, the original Matrix, we're all living in a matrix. The only difference is this was not constructed by an alien civilization out to get you. You constructed it with your mental models and your mental chatter. But the more important point is it really doesn't matter. You have the choice of determining what is the emotional domain you occupy. In all likelihood, you did not even recognize that you had a choice, and you exercised that choice. But now that I'm pointing it out to you explicitly, do you recognize that? You had a choice, and you chose to exercise that choice, and you never even recognized that you actually exercised a choice. The reason you exercised the choice you did is because of the mental chatter you entertain and the mental models you hold. That's how important these constructs are. I will go further. Every time you have a situation in your life that you find unpleasant and it persists, not some of the time, not most of the time, every time, you have a situation in your life, you find it unpleasant and it persists, you are using one or more mental models that are not serving you well. And when you start making changes in those mental models, you'll be astonished how quickly the situation will resolve itself. We spend too much of our emotional energy on the 2, 3, or 4 things that we think are wrong in our lives. And we entirely ignore the 30, 40, 50, 200 things which are pretty darn good in our lives. We have an unfortunate habit of sticking labels on things. Any event that happens in our head, we immediately decide this is good or this is bad. It does a tremendous amount of damage to us. Can you think of anything that happened in your life that at the time it happened, you thought this is terrible? But you can now look back upon it and say, gee, that was actually pretty good. So if something happened to you in the past that at the time it happened you thought was terrible, but you can now look back and say it was actually pretty good, why are you in a hurry to label anything that happens now bad? Is there any possible way in which in X years it could turn out to be pretty good? Just pausing to consider that question will take you to a different emotional domain. And if you then take the next step and say, is there anything I can do to make that happen? You move into a realm of possibility, and courses of action will open up to you that you never would have considered before.
How do I figure out my purpose in life?
You start by asking the question, why am I here? I'm not talking about in the office or in that organization or in that country, but here on the planet. And that's the only way there is to start. It may be an incomplete answer, maybe a half-baked answer, but that is much superior to I don't know and I don't want to question it. You know, it's often attributed to Mark Twain, the quote, that the two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you discover why you're here. What differentiates the best leader? And it has something to do with this spirit, passion, for something they hold deeply and consciously at bay. Who they are and why are they in the world becomes very important to them. And they're able to bring out those characteristics in others, that consciousness in others. They don't do it by cajoling or by manipulation. That can be done. It can be done for a short term. But it's not a long-term measure. But they actually help people in the discovery, if they're not already awake to who they are, they help them become awake to why they're in this business or organization. And together, that they start to move aggressively towards a vision. That's what differentiates teams, and that's where work spirit comes into play. That spirit of purpose. And it's enunciated, they know what it is, and they speak directly to it. There's power in knowing who you are. There's not much power in being a zombie and just walking through the world and saying, well, a lot of people do it is they do stuff and they say, I don't think that's it. Well, what do you think it is? People that get down and out about the organization or wherever they find themselves in a family. So not being snippet with it, but why do you stay? And really looking for the answer. And then following that answer up. And what would happen if you left? What would happen if you stayed? What would happen if you changed? It's up to them to pull themselves out of the victimhood. It's hard to see from a victim standpoint the aspect that everything's a choice. And I move ahead with everything's a choice. Existentialism, that it is a choice. And how you feel about it and what you do about it. Doesn't mean there aren't barriers around you. Doesn't mean the world doesn't want to guide you to a certain end point. But you are in the driver's seat of your life. And so what does it mean?
After a lifetime of working with groups at the highest level of leadership and strategy, what would you have wanted to teach yourself as a 20-year-old Stephen?
Things I would tell a 20-year-old, be appreciative that you've learned how to manage yourself, then move towards leading yourself. And leading yourself is understanding and starting to do the deep inquiry that you'll do for life. Why am I here on earth? For what purpose? And then to establish a purpose, and then to establish a vision. Where do I want to be? What do I want to be doing, being with, learned? And then what values do I want to operate within? So it's really developing that vision, value, and purpose for myself. And then once I have that, then I'd say the last step is start to identify people that I align with on purpose at different levels and start to move with them into the world. If you took the leaders in the past, that would be a lion leader would be something like MacArthur in the Pacific, General MacArthur. It's all about me. Most people can't name a general that was under MacArthur's command. But if you go to Eisenhower in World War II in the West, we know about Bradley, we know about Patton, we know about a bunch of them.
Why? Because he was a leader of a wild dog pack, drawing together both the Brits and the Americans, all these different personalities to do what? A single focus: defeat Nazism. Wild dogs are unique. That issue of we have a shared vision, and the vision, I don't trump the vision. It's not about me. It's about what we've set our collective mind to. And I'll do anything as your leader to make that happen with you. And perseverance, tenacity, I refuse to give up. Because it really isn't, there's not another option. If it does, it's not another, this is what I've chosen. Why do I give up my life purpose? I just don't go to Walmart and shop for another one. This is what I'm here for. So do or die. And it's not a gloomy thing. I'm just going to make it happen.
Oftentimes people go, okay, here's really what I want to do, and this is what I'm trying to accomplish. And then they see all these other things that other people are doing, and then they kind of see that as like a grab bag. They're like, I want a little of this, and a little of this, and a little of this, and I want it all at the same time. And that's not really possible, you know? You can't play 5 sports at the same time. You got to pick one. You got to specialize. Maybe you can do 2, but you probably can't do 5, right? You can't be a classical musician and a rock star, you know, and this all at the same time. So it's about sort of picking your lane, and then knowing that some goals are mutually exclusive.